Hey gang, JC here, and this is the Daily Dose for Wednesday, July 27th, 2011, a combined venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. I've collected tremendous television archives over the course of the last 27 years. You've all heard the story. At one point I had 9 VCRs throughout the 80s and 90s, and they were always running, and I had all these stacks and stacks and stacks of videotapes down in the basement. I had no idea if they were going to be worth anything someday, and then along comes the internet, and along comes the opportunity to do a daily video blog and to put archives in the Video Village and the Wayback Machine. So you're going to get old commercials, old news stories, old TV pieces that I did, some great TV history up there. It's really fun to just sort of punch around and see some of the old stuff, old Slyman Brothers commercials and, an old Bob Richards weather forecast or something like that. So go punch the demolition of the old barn, the old arena. That's a big favorite. It was covered by Fox too. They even put a camera inside the building so you saw it come crashing down on top of itself. So we have lots of really cool stuff up there. We hope you check it out. Sexually Speaking with Dr. Kathy Naughton from the Center for Sexual Health down at the bottom. We update on Mondays and Thursdays. And of course, you got your eye candy feature and our rock and roll poll question right here in the corner. Yesterday, is there a bumper sticker on your car? And 81% of you said no. I'm a little surprised by that. I thought that, with all like the Mizzou stickers and, you've got kids or grandkids or nieces or nephews in high schools and stuff like that. And, of course, then you have the blatantly pugnacious bumper stickers of a political nature. But only 19% of you say, yeah, there's a bumper sticker on the car. Thank you very much for your responses. Got a good one today. Randy Grimm and the stray rescue people have sort of been bailing out the city of St. Louis for quite a while now, running around and picking up the stray dogs, and they have a no-kill policy. And just recently, we have this aldermanic president, Lewis Reed, and he's saying, look, stray rescue is getting jacked around by the city. They need money to continue to operate. And Randy Grimm has basically said, I can't keep bailing out the city here. I'm going broke. I need some money. And in the meantime, you got Alderman Quincy Troop who says, just shoot him. If you see a stray dog, just tell the cops to shoot him. So it's obviously a hot button issue here. So our question today, what should St. Louis do about the stray dog crisis in the city, particularly in North City? A, follow Aldermanic President Lewis Reed's suggestion and give stray rescue the $250 grand it needs to continue the no-kill program. That's A. B, finally get around to building and operating a city pound. There isn't one right now. It's the 21st largest city in America, and we don't have a pound in the city. Or C, follow Alderman Quincy Troop's suggestion and start killing stray dogs, even if you have to shoot them. We do have D for other, and I'm not sure why I put that in there, but I did. I think that there are people who think that if we go on some sort of massive education program on spaying and neutering, maybe that will solve the problem. But I like to live in the real world, and this problem is prevalent not just in St. Louis, it's everywhere, and they've been trying for decades to get people to spay and neuter their pets, and Bob Barker even was on every day telling people to do it. It hasn't worked, so like I said, I prefer to live in the real world, so we'll see what sort of, please, punch up there and give me your response, and let's see what we get tomorrow. We'll have the results for you. It's like to be sitting at your breakfast table with a little niece or a nephew or something like that. You're, probably in your 60s, and an arrow comes flying through your window and hits you in the face. This woman was on the news last night. I'm telling you, some stories, and she's got a hole in her lip, and by the way, she's not bitter. They asked her, are you mad? She goes, no, I'm lucky. I'm like, here we go again with that lucky thing, because I think that the person sitting next door who didn't have an arrow come through their window and hit him in the face, that's the lucky person. But man, oh man. Did you see the umpires last night review the Albert Pujols bounce off the wall? They look at the replay, and it clearly didn't go over the wall, and they still awarded him a home run. What is... Never mind. All right, so Crystal Harris. This is this woman who was going to marry Hugh Hefner a couple of weeks back, and then she called it off, or he called it off, and they both called it off. And she goes on Howard Stern yesterday and goes, oh yeah, I only had sex with him once, and it was over and done with in like 2 seconds. All right, look. The only reason you're even famous, that even anybody cares about you, is because you were with Hugh Hefner. So you actually owe him a debt of gratitude. And by the way, The man is 85 years old. He has led a life that most men could only dream of. I don't really think that at this stage of the game, you're going to make him feel bad by saying that, he's not great in bed at 85. The man has gotten around, okay? They did a study from 16 years ago. Researchers said that the saddest movie of all time was The Champ. This is where Ricky Schroeder, who was 9 years old at the time, watches John Voight, his father, just die right in front of him and everything like that. The Champ was found to produce more sadness than Bambi, which seemed to have come in second place. This gets into a really interesting discussion. And over the course of the next couple of weeks, I'm going to start compiling my list of the saddest movies of all time, and we'll sort of see what happens here. I don't know why this thing popped up now, but it just did. Also on the list was Kramer versus Kramer, which was sad, but I'm gonna bet you I'm gonna come up with 15 or 20 movies that are even sadder than that. All right, they're thinking about doing a movie about ESPN. Some of the producers from The Social Network are involved in this. It's based on the book Those Guys Have All the Fun, which is a complete history of the network told by past, present personalities and producers and stuff like that. Do you know what ESPN stands for? Come on, can you do it? Can you do it? ESPN, Entertainment Sports Programming Network. Because when it first started out back in 79, I think it was, 79 or 80, they were doing all sorts of stuff. You'd turn on ESPN at night, and I still remember they were running videos by the police. They kept running Message in a Bottle over and over again. One of America's founders has died, and when I say America, I'm talking about the band, and that is Dan Peek, who lived down in Farmington for, I don't know, it had to be like the last 20 years or so. Became a born-again Christian after the band's first album. And, just a reclusive sort of Christian pop artist. That first America album, that very first one, there's songs on there that are so good that I can hardly believe it. And there's also the second album is not bad either. And then after that, I thought everything they did was crap. And I mean real crap. Pete Townsend said he expects to hit the road with Roger Daltrey for a Who Quadrophenia tour. And all that stuff about, him not being able to hear. He's like, look, I'm getting old and everybody's got a little tinnitus and stuff like that. It's no big deal. In South Korea earlier this month, a 39-story skyscraper started shaking violently, and they evacuated the building for 2 days. They couldn't figure out why the building was shaking, and they finally found out that there's 23 guys who do a Taibo class, and that shakes the building. You might want to review your building codes over there. Tomorrow we will have an update, as we said, on Speaking Sexually, Dr. Kathy Naughton, Center for Sexual Health. AskMen.com surveyed 700,000 men about dating and sex, and there's just great stuff. I encourage you to check that out tomorrow when we update that here on jcontheline.com. Happy Meals are going to be happier in terms of lower calories. Caloric intake is what I was trying to say. They're going to drop it by 20% in calories, 15% in sodium, and 20% in saturated fat. They're going to put apples in there, no caramel dipping sauce, mandatory fruit, smaller portions of French fries. Pretty good PR move from McDonald's, if you ask me. I haven't eaten at a McDonald's in probably 20 years, maybe longer. Could be 25. But I'll tell you that story some other time, because McDonald's was sort of responsible for running me out of Buffalo 27 and a half years ago. But we did go to the Moscow McDonald's. We had a great time, and the McDonald's people were great to us, so I don't hold a grudge in that regard. Halloween costumes already being mentioned. Yeah, some Osama bin Laden, and there's some Amy Winehouse and stuff like that. But on eBay for $2,000, and it ends tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 o'clock St. Louis time, they supposedly only made about, 9 of these. It's a Casey Anthony zombie mask. And trust me, there's going to be plenty of those this Halloween. Amy Winehouse cremated yesterday. Everyone in London got a contact high. Maya Rudolph, formerly of Saturday Night Live, 39 years old today. Very, very funny woman. And she and Kristen Wiig are very quietly going on to set the record for the top-grossing R-rated female comedy of all time with Bridesmaids. And I think Maya Rudolph is unbelievably talented. All right, it was on this date in 1996 that that guy Richard Jewell, that they tried to nail him for the Olympic Park bombing down in Atlanta, Georgia. Everybody was on him. They said, we got it. Even Tom Brokaw went on NBC and said, the police think they got their man. And Jewell's sitting there going, what the hell's going on? I was trying to help, you idiots. He was finally exonerated but died in 2007 at the age of 44, sort of a broken man. And they had complications from a variety of ailments like heart disease, kidney disease, diabetes, obesity, and stuff like that. Guy had a rough life. They ought to make a movie about the Richard Jewell story. It would be an unbelievable story to tell. But I'm not sure that, with the way America's feeling about itself these days, that anybody would want to make a movie that would sort of point out the fact that every once in a while we do really stupid things in this country, like jump to conclusions. And I'm not necessarily nailing anybody for this. People make mistakes, but boy, this was a pretty egregious mistake to make. This guy didn't do anything wrong. All right, what does it look like when you're driving down a highway and a deer gets hit by an oncoming car? The deer goes flying into the air and then comes through your windshield. What does that look like? I knew you'd want to know that, and so we put it on eye candy, which is right below what we're looking at here right now. All right, our rock and roll poll question: what should the city do about the stray dog crisis in particularly North St. Louis? A, B, C, or D. You got your choices right there. Please respond. We will have results for you tomorrow. In the meantime, that's it. JC's Daily Dose for Wednesday, July 27th, 2011, a combined venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. In the meantime, we've beaten this one to death. Have a good one. See you later. Bye.